morning. Happy Palm Sunday. Today is also the full moon day of Aries, the first of the three major full moons. So this morning, we're going to be talking about that, or I'm going to be talking about it, resurrection and discipleship. The actual full moon, I believe, is at 11:58 today, right before lunchtime. I actually thought about let's have our service like a half an hour later so we could be, bathing right in that exact energy. But I tell you, I don't know if we would feel the difference between now and 11:58. Very strong energy. At least that's certainly been my experience the last couple of days. So today we are celebrating the full moon of Aries. Truly, this is a sacred week for disciples in their spiritual tradition. What a wonderful opportunity this is for all of us to be together this morning, and also our subjective contact at 11:48 or 49, depending on what ephemeris you look at. When we celebrate the Aries full moon, it provides us with an opportunity to strive toward perfection. So if we don't remember anything else about the energies of Aries and how we can use the energies and what they can, that energy can do for us, let us remember that we can just ride on the wave of the energy of Aries, and in that process, strive toward perfection. I find that striving toward perfection keeps us in a state of concentration and especially observation, self-observation. Compare your creative abilities, your talents, your knowledge, your progress to 10 years ago. 5 years ago. Whatever you do in a creative way, whether you write poetry, whether you draw or paint or lecture or dance, take some of those creations and take a look at them. How you wrote them, drew them, designed them 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Have you progressed from that point, or have you stayed in the same place? We can do that now on Aries, this writing on Aries energy. So Aries energy offers us a burning ground experience, an experience that will burn our physical, emotional, and mental problems and trash with incense. It's an interesting comment. The burning ground experience will burn all of our debris with incense. So think about what that means. To me, it means don't be so fearful of tackling and observing and then tackling and eradicating the debris, because we're eradicating it with the incense of Aries, of psychic energy. And this energy for Aries is the energy of resurrection. The burning ground starts with dedication and commitment. So in this month, it is suggested that we become a burning ground for the flame that is within us, or we can remain as we are. It is our choice. And for people like ourselves, certainly my friends, my co-workers, they would be aghast to say, I'm going to stay exactly the way I am. I'm really happy with who I am and the way I am, and there's no need, to take that next step of transformation and resurrection. So I feel like I'm blessed that, I don't surround myself with stay at the same people. Isn't that funny? Are you a stay the same person? So either we go forward or go backward. Either we regenerate ourselves or degenerate ourselves. The flame that burns within us releases the divinity of who we are. So this is springtime. This is a time of resurrection. This is a time of the new you. And put the old you behind. Just start right now. Put that old you behind. Be the new you. Be everything that you wanted to be. Even when you were a child, you dreamed that you wanted to be this and that. So we're going to do that. Launch that idea today to be the new you. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't let your limited thinking hinder the new you. This is going to be me. This is the new me. This is what I'm going to, strive to develop and manifest, and really create a mental plan, I guess, because I'm not really into writing down all of this stuff. But we have over the next 3 months, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, to develop in our mind the new you. And with each step of the new you, we're moving away from the old you, right? Yeah, it's exciting. The new you, the new us. So we either are going to go forward or go backward. We're either going to regenerate ourselves or degenerate. If you want to engage in a discipline, then every day for a few minutes, visualize the flame burning all your physical impediments, your limitations. See, this is the process now of getting ready to be the new you. Just every day for a few minutes, whenever and wherever you are. You can even sit in the car. Turn your cell phone off if you have Bluetooth. So it's really nice and quiet. Visualize a flame burning all your physical limitations, sicknesses, germs, viruses. You can really do this. Give yourself a few minutes and concentrate on seeing yourself in the flame. See the flame. See that it is expanding and burning all your physical plane limitations. And then you say, no, I can't do that because, you see, my doctor told me. Let your doctor tell you, let your doctor take care of you, but don't identify with those fearful words. Because your doctor is trained in a certain way, but we are trained as well in a certain way. And that way is that we can expand and burn our physical plane limitations. So let the flame pass through you. Actually, there's a term called the physical permanent atom. This is like a diskette that has stored all the recordings of your ancient bodies. Not ancient in this lifetime, although some bodies seem very ancient. But the accumulation of lifetimes, they are all recorded in that physical permanent atom, that recording disk. And that's what we want to keep the good and throw out the bad, right? The hurtful stuff. So let the electricity of that flame first come to your etheric body and then to your physical body. You will feel so great, but you need to do it. It's like the middle of the night, like 3:30 this morning. I woke up feeling really bad, and I did this. 15 minutes later, I went back to sleep feeling so good. It was very cool. It works. I had to do something, with that 15-minute period of time to the visualization. So the burning ground is the limitations, the impediments of your physical body. Visualize the flame and then sit in it. It's kind of just repetition here so you'll remember. Visualize the flame, then sit in it. Let the electrical flame, which is psychic energy, purify your body, your whole body. When you finish, you will see something, and you see something is really happening, then move on to the second burning ground. And the second burning ground would be, of course, the emotional body, right? Okay, so you must be open to what? Jealousy, separatism, emotional tensions, and depressions. Open these things to the flame. Spend 3 or 4 minutes with your visualization physically, then 3 or 4 minutes on the emotional body. Your jealousies, separatism, emotional tensions, even depressions that are limiting you. Think of this. These are the seeds of my future illness. Think of this. This is very serious, that to think that a jealousy becomes a seed of a future illness. Negative thinking becomes a seed of our future illnesses. Wow. Depression, tensions. The great ones say that 99% of the sicknesses of our physical body are coming from emotional disturbances. And if you're honest with yourself, if you can confront yourself, be honest with yourself, and spend a little bit of time, you can go back in time and see these triggers that are now being activated and making you ill. So what is the flame? The flame is the light of your soul. It is according to the intensity of the flame that radiates from your head center that we are taken into initiation. It is that flame through which we are taken into new stages of consciousness, which is called new stages of initiation. That flame is our head center, the 1,000-petaled lotus. It is the same flame that burst from the heads of the disciples at Pentecost. Did you know that? Once you become a dedicated and committed human being, then you can take your own evolution into your own hands. Once you leave the lower kingdoms, you must win your own value, which means developing yourself by your own hands and feet. Are you blooming like the flowers in Master Moria's garden that we talked about? Yeah, that we talked about this Thursday, about how there's this magnificent garden real close to the Tower of the Masters. And they take care of that garden every single day. The flowers in the garden, they tend those flowers in the garden. Are we blooming like those flowers? Or are we wrapped into our own limitations like a cocoon? So the Aries full moon releases the shock so we can bloom our beauty. We see this in nature. Nature, this is so cool. Nature does not rationalize. Isn't that interesting? Nature does not rationalize. Only human beings do. Nature loves the sun and blooms. But we use our mind and we rationalize and create limitations for ourselves. We cannot unfold, we cannot bloom because of the limitations that we create for ourselves. And then we just settle. And settling ends up being those seeds of our future illnesses. Aries is a fire sign. It is a progressive at one-ment with the inner flame, the flame of the heart. The teaching explains that the Agni yogi is a person who is united with the flame in their heart, with the highest principle within their nature. It is in the fiery energy of Aries that we unite with that inner flame. It is through the energy of Aries that we become exposed to the fire of our inner being. So you should be feeling this energy today, a couple of days ago, maybe through the whole week. And it will continue for the next 3 days. We become exposed to the fire of our inner being and eventually purify ourselves. During the month of Aries, we want to clean ourselves, getting ready for Taurus, Vesic, the moment of contact. You can't make a contact without being pure. Like with a car battery, if your contacts are dirty, the engine isn't going to ignite. So the days of Aries, from the full moon to the new moon, for a few minutes daily, from today to the new moon, in a couple of weeks, spend 3 minutes on each body, clean your atmosphere. Atmosphere meaning your 5 fibers that we all are so familiar with, like ego and vanity and separatism and greed, fanaticism. Remember how many years we used to burn leaves? Do you remember this? I can remember this as a kid. I just loved it in the fall. You know, I grew up in Iowa, so we had a lot of falling leaves in the season. We used to burn those leaves. Dad would rake them all up, and we would all jump in them and distribute all the leaves that he would rake up. And then we had to help him bring it back together again, and then we burned the leaves. It's like this is the debris that we're going to burn to clean away. We know that we are not yet perfect, but we are striving. Most of us here today, at some point, we made a decision to travel this path of initiation. A most difficult but spiritually rewarding experience for our soul. Rewarding because it places us on the evolutionary path with a lightning speed, giving our unfolding human soul an opportunity to better serve our family, our group, our nation, our humanity. It also reduces the number of superfluous incarnations. This kind of striving reduces the number of superfluous incarnations, which means that our karma is very intense because we're consciously paying the debts of our karma, and equally so enjoying the fruits and the grace of our good karma. It's a nice balance there. So we are like living 3 or 4 lifetimes in one incarnation. So in order to do this, we need to continuously surpass our present level of achievement, and that puts spiritual tension on our bodies. Disciples on this path are those who will make use of the solar festival, the full moon energies, as a means to graduate to the higher levels of consciousness until it puts them in conscious contact with their higher self, with the master, with the ashram, and different stations of the cosmic magnet. Different stations of the cosmic magnet. Think about that. What does that mean? With each progressive stage, the disciple initiate will be able to surpass their present level of consciousness and penetrate into the deeper mysteries of life. Now, if we take during these day-to-day disciplines of sitting in the flame, and then we begin to compare where our creative objects that we manifested, that we put into form, where we were 5 years ago and where we are today and where we're going to be 5 years from now, you're going to see, it's very interesting, you're going to see some of the mysteries of life has unfolded in your creative objects, your creative endeavors. It has to be that way because we are creating on a vertical ladder, not the horizontal sidewalk. Life is given to us so that we can strive toward perfection. Imagine even knowing that. This is what life is. Helena Rourke, in writing to her students, exclaimed, precisely, we should cultivate in ourselves the joy of endless perfectment. She said, after concluding our earthly perfectment, we shall cross into a glorious radiance of manifold beauty to the far-off worlds, the next step of evolution upon the ladder of infinite perfectment. So we can look at ourselves today and throughout the coming days, but especially today, and ask ourselves, where do I need to strive? Physically, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. How can I strive in order to make myself more beautiful? Physically, emotionally, and mentally beautiful. Perhaps we will decide to strive to make our emotions clean and shining with pure feelings. Mentally, we all want to be filled with illumination. Spiritually, we want to be fiery. Striving is not only an effort to improve our personality life, but to also live in a more harmonious way with everything that exists. During a fiery striving, we are told that great revelations can come to our heart. Great revelations come or dawn in our heart. See, if you're just hearing these words, you're going to zone out. You're going to be bored. But if you've had that experience, now it's like we're being inspired once again with this energy of Aries. Great revelations can dawn in our heart using this energy of Aries, and then Taurus, Vesak, and then Gemini, the festival of humanity. Each step of striving is like climbing a mountain. As we come closer to the summit, greater space is revealed before our eyes. To be fiery means that we are no longer controlled by the lower nature. This is not easy. I mean, I know it's not easy. It seems to be increasingly difficult not to fall into that lower nature in today's society. I think the reason is we're so immersed in society today, even in ways that we're not even aware of it. And so we still have what psychologists call these triggers, But the good thing is that when we recognize a trigger, we can then work on eradicating it. That's the good news. We don't want to stay where we are, right? So it means that we are striving to fuse our unfolding human soul with our fiery chalice, and to release ourselves from the mistakes of lifetimes of our personality nature, the elementals that the personality has made. That we have moved from the clockwise wheel to the counterclockwise wheel of the zodiac. And we are now carefully, with spiritual discipline, welcoming the opportunity to pay off our debris from past lives in order to be of greater service to the hierarchy and the plan for humanity. We must make the most of our time here on earth. It goes by very rapidly, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it's moving very fast. But we need to make the most of our time here on earth, where we are no longer subject to the wills of those around and about us. Where we no longer speak and think and move and choose our actions or life by the imposition of others. And we must not be an imposer either. We don't want others to impose themselves on us, then we cannot impose ourselves on others as well. Where we do not want to allow others to use us for their own advantage, or their opinions, or their know-it-all consciousness. We do not allow others to use us for their advantage. We must perfect our ability to be spiritually and esoterically discriminating. Spiritually and esoterically discriminating. Discriminating so we can examine our inner and higher wills in such a way that we can spiritually advance. This is actually a very advanced stage of discipleship. With observation and spiritual discipline, we soon learn how to detach from those inner and outer influences, the ancient past of our personality. Spiritual striving during each full moon, especially the 3 high spiritual festivals of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, we learn how to be obedient to our higher self, to the teacher, the great teacher, and the master. It is through discrimination that obedience allows our life to become more fulfilling and free. So what is discrimination? Mentally, it is the ability to choose the right time, the right thing, and the right direction. The right time, the right thing, and the right direction. That is mental discrimination. It is the ability to know what will be useful to the purpose of our soul, to the soul of our family, to the soul of our country, the soul of the universe, and which things are useless, which are harmful for yourself and others. It means that you refuse to make any choice that will be destructive to your well-being. Imagine talking to our teenage children and grandchildren about this. You refuse to make any choice that will be destructive to your well-being. This also includes the well-being of your family, and if you have a group, the well-being of your group. Discrimination is an ever-evolving process. I find that very interesting. I guess as we spiritually mature, as we become more illumined, then our discrimination is more intuitive, more keen. As you increase in light, your discrimination becomes increasingly right, or more and more right. Discrimination is not just about choice. It is about being sensitive to the guidance of your heart. In Sanskrit, discrimination is called buddhi. See, I like that a lot better because discrimination is a word that's been horribly massacred. So in Sanskrit, discrimination is called buddhi. So discrimination is spiritual insight, intuitive perception. Discrimination is the compass of a disciple who is traveling the path of initiation. In striving, we will not only surpass our present conditions. Now listen to this, imagine it happening to you. Striving, as we strive, we are not only going to surpass our present conditions, but we're going to be living the purpose of our life. This life is a preparatory life, a life that prepares us for our future glory. It is a life that gives us opportunities to make ourselves better and better and more perfect. So we must make the most of it now. Don't waste your time. During the Aries full moon, the first ray energy is given to us. A tremendous energy given to humanity to overcome its limitations. This is what resurrection is. It is an ever-progressing victory over our limitations and errors. This is resurrection. It is an ever-progressing, advancing victory over our limitations. Limitations are opportunities to release. So this is the good side of limitations. I thought this was really important to bring into, our thinking process. Limitations are opportunities to release our own resources and power, our spiritual resources to evoke a power from the core of our being. Through our efforts, through our striving, we resurrect that inner glory, that divinity that is living within each of us. See, this is the new you. This is the new you. All those limitations are part of the old you. See, the old us, the new us. We're resurrecting that glory that is living within each of us. We forget why we are here, and when we forget why we are here, we lose our path. We have lost our path. There is only one direction. Christ demonstrated this in a very beautiful way, that resurrection is victory over our limitations and faults. So how are we going to resurrect ourselves? Can it be done? Of course it can, because The resurrected one, the glorious one, is within you. So in closing, let me give you 3 steps toward resurrection. There are many more, but we're just going to have time for 3 today, so we can have our meditation. Meditation. Do meditation every day. Don't say you don't know how to meditate. Find a quiet place and begin to think about the glory of creation, about the beauty of infinity. Think how glorious you are, that you are a masterpiece, and give thanks to those who have made you what you are, that have made you so precious. Don't hurt your preciousness. Number 1. Number 2, contemplate a glorious future for yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to others. How many people today talk about the glorious future that they're going to have? Rather, they talk about, oh my God, I hurt so much. Let me tell you about that horrible person that betrayed me. My life is so crummy. They talk about things that others have done to them and about their failures. This is something that the Aries energy evokes. It's like this morning, as I was getting ready and to come over here, my son started talking about a family member of the past, and he was really getting into it and really getting angry. And I found it's just like he was trying to, not obviously consciously, pull me into that negative vortex. And I finally stood back and said, wait, don't do that. I said, I can't get into that. Let's not go there. See, that's the old us. Let's talk about the glorious future for ourselves. Think about how shining we are going to be, how beautiful our life is going to be, how wise we are going to be. We must have the vision of perfection. And number 3, every night for 2 minutes, watch the stars so you feel an affinity with cosmos. President Franklin Roosevelt, every night, we are told, would go to the balcony of the White House and look at the stars. When someone asked him why he was looking at the stars, he said it was to renew his humility. Can you step out into the vision of infinity and see the nonsense in your life? That is resurrection. You will feel the psychic energy that is charging your whole being. If you look out at the stars, you will no longer be an average person. You will conquer your limitations and express that divinity that's within.